Good afternoon once again. I am Fox Kunda. I guess I'm in my capacity here as a mother to a boy child. And I'm delighted to welcome you all today here. Our theme today is the boy child crisis. And I'd like to welcome our speakers that are here so far. Let us recognize Mr. Eno Kupulanga. You're most welcome. I'd also like to recognize Mr. J.K. Kazora. Welcome, sir. In our presence, we also have Mr. Frank Batende. You're most welcome. Our chief guest today will be Professor Maggie Chigozie. We're expecting her shortly. And we have some virtual speakers that are not able to make it here, but we shall be glad to hear from them. I'd also like to appreciate our partners today. One of them is Icon Enterprise. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to appreciate Motive. We also have Smari Institute. We're also delighted to have the support of Pepsi Cola. Thank you so much, our partners. So right now we're going to start off with opening remarks from Mrs. Alice Janet, the MD of Icon Enterprise. That will be virtual. Let's join hands and thank Mrs. Alice Janet for those welcoming remarks. I'd like to recognize the presence of Professor Maggie Chigozie. You're most welcome. And I've noted that Mrs. Alice said that the boy child in our African culture actually symbolizes continuity of the clan. So our focus should be on making the boy child grow into a responsible person, which is really a good initiative. So at this moment, with pleasure, I'd like to invite Emmanuel Nyuasasera to take over with the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, our today's MC. And thank you everyone that has made it to this very day. It has been a very tough day. We woke up very early in the morning to try to put everything together with everyone that tried to help us. I'm so excited for you people that managed to come. Professor Maggie, thank you very much. Enoch, JK, and Frank, I really appreciate so much. So today happens to be the International Boy Child Day. When I talk about the International Boy Child Day, everyone asks me, boys also have their day. What for? When I talk about the Men's Day, everyone is asking, you mean men also have to be celebrated? For what? So it's like they have lost value and there is no need for them to be recognized. But there is a very big need and there is a crisis, and that's why we are here today to talk about it and address these issues. It's not because we are saying that let's not talk about our sisters, no. We are saying that alongside our sisters, let's also guide and mentor and protect these boys. So today we shall be live on the Identity Talk with EJ. That's the show that we shall be launching today. These shows will be happening every month here at Motive. We shall be giving you the details and we shall be addressing the issues of a modern man and also helping young people that are consumed with personal growth, self-improvement, and changing their physical avatars in one way or the other. So I want to first share with you something small. Last month there was a conference at Serena, and one minister came up to address the people that were there. So she said that when we try to talk about our girls, some people come up with big voices saying that, why are you leaving out the boys? It was a gender equality conference. So for me, that statement was wrong and right. She was right to say that they come up to help the girls, because I really agree that for a long time the girls were left behind, and the women, and they really need this help. So for her saying that was right. But saying that then why come the voices are coming up to help the boys? I think that was wrong. I think we have to understand that gender equality is not the issue of woman, but it is an issue of human. It's a human issue, not a woman issue. And we are all concerned. As someone from the first experience who has seen this, I know how much it feels growing up as a young boy, aspiring to become someone that you did not grow up seeing or have in your life. It's very hard. I know very many young boys here are aspiring to become first generation CEOs. It's very hard for you to become that person when you don't have the first role model in your home to mentor you, to tell you that you have the idea, you have the vision, so that's the vehicle, you know how to drive. So this is the safest route for you to take. When you take this route, you will achieve your dreams. If you don't have that person touch your hand and show you the right way, it will be very, very difficult for you to succeed. So there is a very big need for us to become the biggest mentors. Our parents, our fathers are supposed to be showing directions to these sons, to these young boys, as they are doing to the girls. Because we need this. Otherwise, that's why we have increase of growth in drug abuse. All of them are boys. Boys are violating their women in homes because they have not been mentored. They have been ignored and they don't know these things. And sometimes I don't also blame the fathers because we live in a community of very conservative parents whereby maybe also growing up, they grew up in a generation whereby the word father meant when I come in a house, all the kids run to the bedroom, all the kids run to the kitchen. That's what they'd find as respect for a man. But that was wrong. So we want to break that toxic masculinity that was there. We say a father should be having that bond to build with the son. If you're a father, you have to build that bond so that your son is free to come and communicate to you in case of any challenge. And these are things that our parents lack. So because it wasn't built in them. And it is very weird and very funny, and it has been proven that we tend to inherit most the traits that we hate most on our parents. Those are the traits we tend to inherit. So if you grew up seeing your dad come up drunk and beat up your mom, most of the times you don't like it, but it's the character that you take up because you grow up knowing that that's the best. Why? The first role model is a man. So your first role model growing up showed you that the right way to treat a woman is by beating them. The right way to treat the kids is when you enter the house, they run to the bedroom. So you grow up and take it up like that. So we are telling young men that are going to transition to that, don't be like that because it is really, really painful. So today, that's why we are here to address that very issue because it really hurts. We don't want to grow up in that generation where we are mentoring our girls and have very, very wonderful, amazing ladies, well-trained, and end up marrying an addict, end up getting married to an abuser, all those kinds of men that we are not talking about. So this show is what they are going to be talking about. I've seen very many shows on TVs, She Talk, Her Talk, Girl. I've not seen any show that addresses these things. And this is a very, very big challenge. So I wasn't meant to give a speech, but I had to give a highlight on what this is all about. So allow me introduce to you the amazing panel that we are having today. These are great men. These are people that have teenager sons and they are raising them really well. So we want them to share with us how are they doing it, because we need to build a better generation. These days, young boys don't even have a vision, they have no goals, they don't know where they're headed, which is so sad for our generation. So our first panelist today, this gentleman I'm going to call today, I started watching him on TV when I was in top class. They are pointing at each other. He started working on TV when the year I was born. Don't calculate his age. But he still looks really, really fresh. He is the reason as to why I was inspired to do this show, and most of the things we are having here, he has guided me, and he is building the greatest generation of the media people that are coming up to solve the biggest problems in the country. So we don't take it for granted. We really appreciate your energy and efforts and opportunity that you've given us. the space and everything that we're using is because of you. I wouldn't have come up with this idea to have these shows, solve this problem, if you had not given me the opportunity to get trained and know how the things are working. Please, ladies and gentlemen, allow me welcome the senior coach of Samari Skilling Institute. Let me hear some big noise from the Samarians, J.K. Kazola. Thank you very much for coming. The next speaker today is the person that has seen me grow from developing the idea. By the way, the story I was giving, that is what made to the birth of Golden Voice Foundation Africa. Because we want to address and solve these issues of a modern man. What are they facing? Right now, the stigma and the trauma is no longer about challenges you face. Now it's about social media, who gets the most likes. So we shall address all those things. So this very person, every time I write anything, if I write down a proposal, I first send to him. I'm like, this proposal, do you think, is there any person that can read it? I write a concept note. I'm like, please help me read through. He tells me, Emma, I'm so busy. I'm not in the country. What can I do for you? I'm like, please help me. But he has always had time for me. I cannot take that for granted because I remember last month I talked to some investor. He's called Mateo from Portugal. He told me if you want a mentorship from him, every session you pay $1,000. That is if you're a good friend. But me calling this person on his busy schedule and he gives me time, I really, really appreciate that. Please help me join your hands together and welcome the team lead of Lead Minds Africa, the Mark Cain Institute and Obama Foundation leader, Enoch Nkulanga.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, another amazing man on the platform. We are having today a father of young boys, teenagers, who has groomed his sons very well. If you meet his sons, you will really admire to go back to that generation and be groomed by him so that you become a straight, up forward, eloquent young gentleman. I envy this person. If in future when I become a father, I'll be coming to him for mentorship on how to do parenting. Please put your hands together for the operation lead of Icon Enterprise Foundation, Mr. Frank Mbatende. Yes, here we are. This is the team that is going to today feed us with wisdom. When I was coming here today, I met someone and I tried to tell them what I'm doing and how I'm trying to help the next generation. So this gentleman asked me, how do you even intend to do this? You're not even a parent. You don't know how things are done. You're young, you're 23. How do you like sit down parents and talk to them about parenting? What do you know about it? But one thing I have to first say is that there is something called experience. You don't go to school to study experience. You don't Google experience. You have to walk the journey. If you've been through a system, you know how it works. And in life, you're in the better position to help someone that you have been before. If I have been an addict, I am in the best position to advise someone that is fighting addiction better than a freshly graduated clinical psychologist who has had a smooth ground to help you. I have walked the journey of addiction, so I've been knowing it. So I'm in the best position to help you than a professional to say. So experience is something you don't take for granted. So it's just because I've been there, and I'm still there, and I'm walking the journey, the positive trajectory. So that's why today we are here, and we are helping all the gentlemen in here, and the ladies, because these will be fathers, these will be husbands. They will talk to your daughters. They will have to interact with you. So you don't need to meet someone who has really not been mentored. So without wasting any time, I want to start with you, Frank. I know you're a father to teenagers, to amazing sons. I want you to tell us, what is this crisis? Actually, I'm giving you a burden to build a case for today's conversation. What is this boy-child crisis that we are talking about today? Is there really a crisis, and what is it?
Thank you, Emma. As Emma has told you, I'm a father of 3 boys. I'm married to a woman. I go to church and I work. When Emma asked me to come and participate in today's theme of the day, the boy-child crisis, we all agreed we are going to have a conversation. We are not going to have a presentation. We are going to share experience. But I want to ask you, why are we here? Of course, you are going to say we have come to listen to the boy-child crisis. Do we agree we have a crisis, a boy-child crisis? First of all, we need to agree. And I was thinking, what is the cause of all this? And some of the causes, if not all, is that fathers have failed to nurture their boys into men. If a father is not easily available for the boy, a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of research has been done regarding the boy-child crisis. By the way, this is a global crisis. It's not only in Uganda. If we can remind ourselves, the top social crisis, the drug abuse, spiritual confusions, teenage pregnancies, mention it. You may find that it has affected a boy child more than the girl. The reason why you are here, our young boys, and thank you the sisters who have also come to join us today. You should be proud of yourselves that you are seeing light at an early stage. And it's time for you to think about it. Why do we have this boy-child crisis? Research has been done, has been written, that a father's home, if someone grew up in a father's home, a lot of things are going to happen to the boy child. You'll find that boy is either a gangster, he'll be engaged in premarital sex. It's going to do a lot of things. Even now when you do research, when you go to prison, they are overcrowded by boys. And when you ask them, no, I stay with my mom. Yes, the fathers can be there, but are you available for your son? That's the main concern. How are you preparing yourself to have a family? Again, I shared with Emma that some of us who are parents, we are getting disappointed. That's why we are trying our level best to try and see maybe our boys can live a better life. In general, readership in boys has totally gone down. Totally gone down. If you can reflect within our homes, the kind of leadership you are playing in your home, you may find you are not doing a lot in your very own home. And the leadership starts from home. I hope we agree with that. We have got boys who cannot even fix a tire, who cannot even advise on how to maintain a garden, who cannot even fix a bulb in the house. The best they can do is to immediately call an electrician, somebody to fix it for them. And these are boys who are with big bodies and the boys who speak well, good English, better than me. But they are not properly groomed to handle certain responsibilities at a particular time. Believe me, if you don't take leadership right from your home, it will be very hard for you to be a CEO of any sort. What am I trying to say? For you who are here, I beg you, when you leave this, try as much as possible when you go home, try to look that you are a leader in your own capacity. Those who stay with a parent, try to show them you're a leader. I have families, sometimes they ask you to come and talk to their boys. And these are fathers also. You find that a father has girls and a father, there are boys in the family. But you find that even the father is struggling to identify a hair among the boys. But when you find a girl is more well organized, not saying that we should be in a competition, but a boy is supposed to take a lead in each and everything. And this is biblical. Sorry to bore a bit. I know most of you may not be reading Bible so much. So a boy was always groomed to be a leader, right from our tradition. But you find that we can't, those guys are looking for boys, they are looking for husbands, but they are struggling. Some of them, since they have the money, they end up staying alone. But still, they also face challenges. A home without a father, it is also becoming something difficult for them. I can give you an example. Last time I was at a primary school where my boys go. My boy was standing for prefect. I asked the headmaster, who is the head prefect? He told me, can you imagine, in the entire school, it's only the girl who came up to be the head prefect. And she didn't have any competitor. I said, what is this? How can boys allow that to really happen? We've never had all those kind of, how can a woman, it's good to be a leader, yes, but how can you just leave it like that? I also went to a secondary school. I also had a similar chat with the headmistress there. She tells me the girl child is taking over everything. They are now even pushing boys, trying to help them organize themselves. They are the one who's pushing them in relationships. So there is a decline in boys as far as leadership is concerned. There is a lot of research which has been done. Even in education performance, girls are continuously superseding boys. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but we shouldn't be left. We shouldn't be left behind. In summary for now, I request boys to reflect on what they can do to better their lives. And it all starts with the leadership, personal leadership. Create a change in your life, even when you go back. Those who are parents, try to show your parent that you're a leader. Try to be more vocal. Try to be more responsible. Try to show them, yes, you can manage. Don't leave even boys now these days know how to cook, but some of you may not even be willing to cook. I'm sorry I'm going into basics because I'm a parent and I've talked to a number of boys, and I feel there is a lot of gaps which must be closed sooner than better. And the purpose also of this is to help you become better fathers. I know most of you are not going to join priesthood, or you are going to get married. But what kind of father do you want to be? What kind of children? Start to plan now. Start to plan now. Choose your partners wisely. It's good to be in a relationship, but you can delay it a bit as you organize yourself, so that by the time you go into it, you are somewhat prepared. You may not prepare yourself 100%, but at least be somewhere. Discover yourself. What kind of life do you want? I've talked to a number of boys. You ask a boy, and these are quite big boys. This time they name themselves, I'm a big boy, and But you try to engage them and see, what do you want to become? You are studying. The boy doesn't have. Others will say, I think my dad will choose for me a course.
Thank you very much
Okay,
for
okay.
interrupting you just in time. So I want first put a small emphasis on Franca's points. I just don't want you to quote him out of context. He said that in schools, girls are taking up these positions, leadership positions. They are now leading. It is not bad. It is not bad at all. We want them to take those positions. But then, that does not mean that now, as a boy, you become fierce. You be fearful and you cannot take up those positions as well. You cannot compete. Boys are no longer vocal. They call someone to give a speech and there's no boy that can come up. So that's what he's trying to mean. He's not saying that girls that have been taking the lead stop. No, please continue and continue challenging us so that we can also wake up. We are calling on to come up and also give us a challenge then, as we are also telling the boys, wake up. So I want to come to you, JK, because I know for sure you have a son who's a teenager, and what I know about you is you've really worked so hard. You're so like me, you can multitask, you can do everything. That's one thing I respect about you. You can do everything. You don't feel like this is a small job, I can't do it. Something that this generation will no longer have. We feel like, oh, how can I go and do tailoring? How can my friends see me on that machine when I graduated? So today I was listening to a speech of some billionaire. So he was asked about what he sees as the future of his generation. So this is what he had to say. He said, my grandfather walked 10 miles to school. I walked 5 miles to school as well, but now I'm driving a Cadillac. My son is driving a Mercedes. My grandson will be driving a Ferrari. But my great-grandson will walk again. So the gentleman asked him, why that? He said, tough moments create tough men. Create strong men. Strong men create weak moments. And then weak moments, tough moments create strong men. Strong men create weaker moments. Weaker moments create soft men. So those soft men cannot work as hard as the tough moments that created the tough man could work. So as someone has really worked extremely tirelessly for the success you have now, how are you setting the pace for your son, and how are you training them not to lose up as the generation? Now it's all about social media, wake up, watch Netflix, and that's what we do. Our boys are always on video games. How are you doing it for your son, and how can parents learn from you, and how can we raise these boys better?
Okay, grateful to be here. Thank you for the invite. That's a wide thing to talk about, but I'll try and break it down. And part of that is I look at how I've been raised and where I'm heading. So when I look at my great-great-grandfather, who was a king in Rwanda, they fought, they came to Uganda in 1896, and he had his son, then had my grandfather in 1922. Enoch Kazora, my grandfather, in 1922. And he had 8 children. The first boy, the second born was my father, James Kazora, who was working in the Bank of Uganda for 20 years. Had 5 children, 4 girls. I'm the only boy. He died when he was 41. Well, my grandfather, pretty decent guy. He fought in the Second World War. His 8 children, he provided a piece of land for them, which they have. I try to educate them. The 8 children, they've had 54 grandchildren. Some have made it. Some have not made it. They're in the village drunkards. Some have lost, some have died, some. So you look at then now, me, my generation, how we're treated. We're the guys that your father would walk in, you'd run away. But of course, me, I had it tough. Of course, my father died when I'm only 9. I had to be raised by other people. So no role model, and no one cares about you. So I guess that's how I ended up in my comfort zone in entertainment, because I could do so many things in entertainment and find a way to survive. Because me, fees was a problem. So you look at the family and know, okay, what's a legacy like? And then you look at some families that probably Dr. Maggie will say, okay, now, my generation, how am I saving? How am I working not for my children, Navio? In case you don't Navio, that's Navio's mother. So you know that I am not working for Navio. I am working for Navio's grandchildren. So I'll give an example of Wavamuno. Wavamuno will, you look at Lake Vic Hotel. He gave it away for 30 years when I just joined WBS. Yeah. So that lease ended. He has given it away for another 40 years. So that 40 years, his sons, Elvis, is not going to touch that money when the hotel is back. Even Elvis's son, who is now, the firstborn is like 35. He'll be 75. He'll be too old to touch that hotel. So it will be his great-grandchildren. So again, going back, that's you asked me something not related to, I don't know if I'm even communicating what we talked about. So when you invited me anyway, for about this legacy.
Exactly. Legacy and generational wealth.
For the boys.
Yes.
Because the girls are usually taken. So,
The other
yes.
So it's very important which our parents normally don't have. They look at tomorrow, yesterday, 5 years, 10 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, so when you have a boy like me, I have 3 boys. My brother, I have 3 boys. And when I'm even planning for them, I'm like, okay, the best I can do is make sure that they have the education, but I also have to think ahead for their children and my grandchildren. How do you do that? If you're lucky enough to have some investments that you can keep and know that you do the trust things and the Wavamu knows what they're doing and you look up, you say, okay, fine, that can push on. And the partnerships that you also create in terms of which family are you working with, which legacy are you going to follow. So as a boy, you also start to think and say, okay, I think I'm comfortable working with so-and-so. I see their legacy. I see they've been running their family for 100 years. My son can marry in this family, and I know the legacy might, continue and grow. But what are the challenges of a boy child? Now, me growing up as the only boy, and growing up in many families, it was hard to find a role model. I had many. And if you liked a certain uncle, you try to probably want to be like them. But you reach a space and say, but again, this is not like. So I ended up looking at other people. And you don't have to look at your father, your uncle, your what. You can look at someone else and say, this is my role model. You can look at Dr. Maggie Gos and say, for me, I am going to follow her. What is she doing? In case I did something and I met her, what would she tell me? Yeah. So I went ahead and moved away from my family members and got role models that were out of my community. Even on television, I went ahead and looked at a guy like Trevor Nelson. There was a TV presenter when I was doing Jam Agenda, a guy was called Trevor Nelson. I went ahead and watched every bit about him, to the point that one day I did a Jam Agenda show before his would be on Wednesday, mine would be on Tuesday. And they had selected 3 songs in my lineup for my show, in their show. And that's when I realized that I think now I need a new role model. I need to move on to Ryan Seacrest and all these guys. So it's important that you have a role model, someone you look up to. Number 2, you have to look good. You have to make sure that whatever money you get, buy that nice shoe, buy that nice shirt. Impression is everything. If you don't stand in the mirror, you're leaving your home and say, wow, I look nice. This cashew is matching my yellow thing. I'm going to be in the field. You must look good. And I always tell you, Simari students, that impression is everything. Now, for the girls, whether we do what, girls are stronger than us, mentally, they are stronger than us. You cannot compete with a woman. You can't. She's better than you by far. Even abroad, some of us who have lived abroad, doctor will know, if a woman calls police and you've just slapped her like this, and she calls police, just get down and put your hands up and be ready to go to prison. But let a woman beat you, and you call police and say, the woman has beaten me, they just laugh at you. They'll do nothing. But let a woman report you. You're in trouble. So, as a boy child, you should know that even in the Bible, they are a weaker vessel. I feel they are a stronger vessel than us. Yeah? We have to love them, but we can't compete with them. There are certain things that God made that they are highly better than us and highly favored. So what do you do? If I give you an example here and say, all of you boys who are here, you're going to have 1 minute with doctor, just to talk to her, 1 minute, have a conversation. And after maybe 50 or 30 of you have had a conversation, and I ask her, who would you want to talk to again? What would be her answer? Someone who is more knowledgeable at many things. I personally, even if she sat with me and all these gentlemen and all of you, I know she'd want to speak to me again. Because if he talks about entrepreneurship, I will know. If sales and marketing are there, we shall fight. Television media are there, we shall kick it. Maybe she can confuse me in doctor medical things. So what am I trying to say? Be knowledgeable at many things, so that you can have a conversation with anybody. So that if I come and meet some of you here, I'll say, I am more likely to talk to this guy because I might learn 1 or 2 things that he has studied that I don't know. So, the boy child, number 1, get mentors. Number 2, impression is everything. Be smart. Cut your nails, cut your hair, dress well, smell good. Number 3, be knowledgeable. Learn many things. Yeah, if they say media, opportunities, go learn. If they say this, learn. If they say you don't know, you may not do it, but it may help you in your conversation and well-being. Because now girls, a girl at 20 or 23 or 24, I see them, if she's beautiful, 5'4", nyash, dimples, what, you're never going to talk to her. Because we are here. Even guys older than me. So it becomes a bit difficult for you even to start engaging in relationships at your age. Because now, girls need money. Any girl now, name it. So how will she talk to you? If you're presentable, you smell good, you're knowledgeable, she's going to give you your time without money.
Thank you. Can we have a hand clap for JK? Thank you. Thank you very much, JK. Hope you guys have notebooks and you're writing down these key points. This is like a whole blueprint that JK has just given you. I feel like he has summarized one big topic, which is networking and how to interact with anyone at any time, because appearance is very, very important. You might call it being luxurious or what, but buying a good shoe and meet someone, first impression will show him or her that this is a very serious person, and they'll want to listen to you even when you don't even have content. That's number 1. Then he told you information. Information is very, very powerful, because if you meet Dr. Maggie and you start speaking, if you're not speaking something that doesn't align with her values or what he expects of you, then you won't get as much attention as you need. So you must be having the information and know what you want in life. So knowing what you want, being informed. I was having a discussion with CK, the owner of this place. So he told me, I receive very many messages in a day. So if you want me to respond to you, your message has to stand out and doesn't have to be long. In 2 lines, I must have gotten attracted to your message and known what you want and gotten back to you. In 2 lines. So if you don't know what you want, and if you're not intentional and not well informed about what you want, you're not going to express yourself in 2 lines, and you'll wonder why people don't connect with you. So that was very amazing lesson for us. So I will come to Enoch now. Enoch, I was at one university talking to these boys and girls. Then happened to interact with one guy. So I asked him, after doing this course that you're doing, what next? Within 5 years, why do you see yourself being? Why do you see yourself being? You know what he told me? He told me, my dad told me to finish this course, then after graduating, he will see what he can do for me. Then I saw, your dad will see what you can do for you. Then I interacted with the other boy. Dad told me after this degree, he will take me abroad, do my master's, and I'll start from there. So after your master's abroad, what next? He doesn't know. So we have in a generation where most of the youth, okay, not all, but some have been pampered, but maybe because our parents lacked, so since they have gotten, they want their kids to have it all, but are not doing it the right way or mentoring them. So they are lacking that mentorship and that inspiration to show them the right directions to take, regardless the all resources that they are having. And I believe that's why most boys complain that I can't get a girlfriend, these girls need older men. I think it's because we don't have a vision and no mission. You don't know where you're headed. So there's no way that person who expects you to dominate the relationship come into your life when you personally don't know where you're going. Because I believe in a philosophy that if you don't know where you're headed, then you don't know who is in the right path to move with you. Because you personally don't know your vision. So whom can you going to put in the same vision which you don't have to work with you? So Enoch, tell us, how do these boys build vision, have a purposeful life, so that we can create a better generation for the young men?
That's a very interesting question, but I was to say thank you for inviting me and making me sit with the men like Kazora and Frank. I think what you're touching on is really one of the reasons as to why you can't tangibly trace intergenerational wealth in like in African countries. I mean, in the African families. I grew up in a family, and I was fortunate enough to be taken to school very early. But my father valued so much cows that it reached a point where it was hard for him to sell a cow to send me to school. So for him, paying my tuition was by selling a cow was equal to wastage. And that's how I was fortunate that during that time, as a very curious kid, from a very young age, I liked to ask questions. And I performed well. I kind of had an enlightenment that, this is going to be a struggle moving forward. The mere fact that I was in school, that was the opportunity that I needed to use. So I would move 7 miles from my home, run every morning to school, but when I reached school, school was school. And I became an excellent student. Then my teachers really fell in love with me, and they started to support me. They connected me to people who would support my education. Then later I got someone that I when I go back in my memory lane, I call a mentor. So most of the times what we have seen is that we live between the present and the past. I have my past and the present now, the things I'm trying to create. So as I try to create the present and the future, I tend to go back in my past. So literally, even when I'm focused on creating the future, I'm really still going back and integrating the past in the future and the present life that I'm living. So some young people, yes, grow up in well-to-do families, but we have a common saying here. I suffered a lot I don't want my children to suffer. They need to sit. Now these days we have Netflix, video games, we have cartoons on TV, and then we have Cafe Javas. So we want our kids to leave school, come home, watch cartoons, video games, order Cafe Javas. That is life. The modern parent nowadays, if a kid is living that life, then they are successful, and the parent starts to have a connotation of a well-lived life. But we are really missing, such parents end up realizing very late that they do not prepare the children to really handle life, to navigate life's challenges when they are gone, when they go out of the picture. So what we have seen is children who just the wealth left behind. But one of the things is that is very important if we are to really groom the next generation is to even start with conversations like this that start to support young people to connect dots. I'm living a life presently that looks like this, but this is the future I want. And how do I get there? So they come into spaces where we talk to men like Kazora, Frank, Professor Magi Chigozi. At your age, this is how I was living life, and this is what helped me. Is the common theme nowadays is finding a mentor. So I feel like for children who come to school and they really don't know what they want to do, they need to really be connected to spaces like these ones, where they listen to people who have lived a life that they are living right now. But most importantly, we need to also introduce our children very early in life that vision is one of the most important things. Having a vision at a very, trying to understand how you need to live your life. When you look at vision, it tends to be with the purpose. Vision is something that you want, the future you want to realize. So right now you might this conversation, but there is through the collective effort, the people you are bringing on your team, you want Golden Voice Africa to realize to create a certain future. So young people need to ask themselves very early questions, life questions, like who am I? The identity question, one of the most important. We are created by God, and when He releases us into the world, we are already a finished product. And we have purpose in us. What is important is to discover your vision. For instance, when I hold this phone, the mere fact that it has an Apple logo, it was tested in the factory by the manufacturer before it was released. And when it was released, I bought it on the market, but it is already a finished product. So actually, we never use new phones. We use things that have already been used in the factories. Are we together? So we need to realize that we already have purpose. What we need to focus on is discovering our vision. What do I want to do? How do I want to spend the rest of my life? And it is good that now we are having a conversation, and in the audience, there are people who have siblings. They are parents. So these are the kind of things that the children need to be exposed to at a very young age. They need to ask themselves, who am I? The identity question so much. Where am I from? The source. We tend to think we are really from, you ask someone, where here around Kampala, you meet someone and you ask someone, where are you from? And they say Uganda or Rwanda or Congo. But we need to really connect to our original source, where we come from and where we return. And we do things, we expose our children to do things during their time on earth. Another question is, why am I here? Why am I really here? These are the questions that can support young people to discover their vision and live a life of purpose, live a significant life. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do during my timeline? We have this crisis amongst young people. They are like, they need to go to parties, to clubs, and they say, life is short. Live, life is short. Then they go waste themselves drinking, and they're like, oh no, I'm living life. I'm really enjoying because life is short. But really, why are you here? Is one of the most significant questions. And sometimes you need to connect to people who are already doing things that challenge you, so that you start to even question the things you are doing, the things you are spending most time doing. The things you spend most time doing are the things that translate to who you are. Then, what can I do? What is your potential? What can I do? Another crisis I think we are experiencing is very many young people, the boy child, despising the job. I have a degree. I can't be a mechanic. My dear, you need to evaluate that. I'm challenging you that you need to evaluate that. I think I'm one person who doesn't despise work. You give me work, I do it. So sometimes there are situations that will make you realize that you need to first put aside your degree and really ask yourself, what can I do during my time on earth? How significantly can I contribute to even your family, your siblings? Sometimes we spend a lot of time wanting to discover major things. Big, what we call big. He's a big person because he's doing this, something at scale. But sometimes we are called to minister to our siblings, to minister to our very family. First, take care of that. And then you can look at even the bigger things. Where am I going? Destiny. What are the things that you want to leave behind? The next 30 years as a boy child, as a young person, the next 70 years of your life. How are you going to be remembered? What is going to be written on your epitaph, as your epitaph? So, I believe that such young people can be helped in that kind of way to discover significantly how they can live a life bigger than the wealth created by their parents. Because in one way or the other, there is a certain point where they are going to live their own life and they have to figure out things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Enoch. That was a really wonderful submission. Talking about purpose, I was reading some book, then I read this quote. Someone said that you actually stop living the day you don't realize your purpose. The day you stop serving your purpose, that's the day you start to die. Actually, that's when you die. So talking about that, we are born with purpose. Our Creator already created us with purpose, as the phone is already created with the programs by the manufacturer. So your role is to discover what your purpose is that you were created to serve here on earth. Your role is to discover those programs on the phone and how can you use them. So everyone has a purpose. Your role is to get the right people, surround yourself with the people that can help you discover that thing that is within you, that was created within you, and you thrive. So that was so amazing. I want to come back to you, Frank. There is this thing that Enoch touched on, and I feel like it's very important about us being held back within our past. There's something that is very important, which is called healing. In most cases, when you don't heal from the past traumas, like I said before, you grew up in a very toxic family where your father was always violent and fighting. So if you don't give time and room to heal from that toxicity, most of the times you transfer it to the next relationship, and it becomes very hard for you to do better in that relationship. You always have that trauma, and you think about what happened to you. If you don't get the right mentors, the right therapists to guide you through that process of healing and becoming a new you, so that you overcome your past and you start the new journey to the best life, sometimes it holds us back in our relationship. People have trust issues because in their families, the first people that you have to trust are your parents, but they betrayed you. So you have that trauma. How do we heal to start a new journey and new relationship?
I want to connect my answers to both Kazora's and his presentation, my friend here. Kazora made a very strong point. Be more knowledgeable. As a boy, try to seek for knowledge. As you seek for knowledge, you are going to discover so many things. People who have even suffered more than you. People who have healed. People who have come from nowhere and God has enabled them to be somewhere. But if you're a boy or a man who doesn't want to seek knowledge, it may be very hard for you to borrow examples, to pick role models. He has asked you to pick role models. As I grew my boys, there are about 4 things which I actually always try to help them understand. 1, building leadership at the early stage. 2, having a spiritual direction. For those of you who want to be closer to God, you can easily get all the answers. You may not believe in the Bible, but you just read it to get knowledge. By the way, whatever answers you may want to get, it's always in the Bible. Suffering has been part of man's life. So whatever happens to you, you have to think about it and sometimes let it go. I know it's very hard sometimes, but if you're a person who always want to achieve for better life, you already find a way of pushing it down and move ahead. Consult people. Consult some of your best friends, head older than you. That's one solution. I've told you, read more. Read the Bible. Pick one of your good relatives, talk to them. Don't die alone in the movie. Try to find a way out so that you can be able to achieve your goal. First of all, if you've set your goals, sometimes you say, that one, forget, I have to go. I have to move ahead. I have to move ahead. But always, solutions are always around you and within you and in your mind.
Thank you very much. That has helped. And I think something that he has talked about that most of the men and the boys don't have is that we love keeping our battles within ourselves. And something that you keep within you, it haunts you the most. It's only when you let that thing out, you let it go, it's when you feel relieved of the burdens and the battles that you are holding back. So I think one way of healing is you to talk to someone and let that out. Because when I was talking to one therapist, they told me that one step of healing, he told me get a piece of paper and a pen, go in a quiet room, write down each and every person that you feel are hurting you or you feel are annoying you. Put them on the paper. It could be a family member, it could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be your girlfriend who betrayed you, it could be anyone. Write anyone. It's called a who hurt me list. Do a who hurt me list. After doing that who hurt me list, pray over it. After praying over that who hurt me list, write to them letters. Because talking to them, I may want to talk to you about what you did to me, but when we face each other, I hold some things back, or maybe I fear your reaction. So write to that person, pour down everything on the paper, take the letter to them, let them sort themselves. You will feel fresh. You'll feel your heart is now okay. You will start a new journey. I believe that's the best way of healing from our past traumas. There is one thing I want to come to you, Enoch. He talked about leadership. We had a conversation before on a panel about how men have lost trust in business. Men have lost trust in business. If you're a CEO, if you're a SFO, you want your accountant to be a woman. They are the people that we trust. Not that they shouldn't, but the other us, we have lost trust completely. They believe you're going to run out with the money. They believe you have other issues maybe are disturbing you, that you're going to use the money. So they believe that the other sisters can actually do the job better than us. So how can we retain that trust in business?
That is an interesting question. I think we need to stop as men doing the things that have made us lose the trust. When you look around, how many people have been, involved in corruption scandals? The majority women or men? Men. We all agree, right? So we have had women rising up in positions of leadership, and I think it is a healthy thing to actually embrace. So I will not sympathize with the men. I'm sorry, but the truth is, if we are to regain the trust, then as men we need to stop doing the things that are making us lose the trust. If we are given responsibility, then let's be responsible. If we are put in charge of funds, like, you are an accountant, yes, do your job. Increasingly, research is showing that women are becoming better leaders. Women are great leaders. And as we continue to talk about gender equality, it shouldn't become like a point of conflict side of. They have also been sit-home moms and for so long. So if the women are rising up, men just need to work on their ethics, on their integrity, and do what they are supposed to do so that they can regain the trust.
Thank you very much. That was really nice. I want to come to you, JK. One time I had you tell some story, because there are really very many conflicts in homes whereby men don't actually speak up. They don't speak out about what happens. If you slap your woman tonight, in the morning everyone will be aware of it, including the police. If she slaps you, you even don't want anyone to know about that. So you stay in that toxicity for a long time. You're traumatized. That's why the suicides come up. People kill themselves, taking poison, and you wonder, people shooting themselves in broad daylight, and you wonder, this was a rich man, what happens? But you don't know what happens behind the curtains. One day you told the story where you found a couple at the police station, and the couple was actually divorcing simply because the man wasn't putting on a vest. Doesn't put on a vest. That was so weird. So, and the woman was leaving, and he was saying, I cannot marry because you cannot put on a vest. Maybe because growing up, the dad is put on a vest, and she thinks for you to be a man, you have to put on a vest, and that is a line for her. How do we deal with this?
It's very difficult. Like I said, women are better than us. And talking about the money issue, the way God created us, women are better managers of even a home. If you give me 100K to run my home and you gave my wife, she'll run it better. She'll use that 100K better. Just like even in organizations, I don't remember, because most of the places I see, it's women. Even Simari, it's a woman. So they are better managers. And women are a bit, different. We like to, hold up and hold things. A woman will always, engage you and what. A woman can even come and tell you, I want to talk to you about something. Now in your mind as a man, you're dead. You're like, what did I do? You check your phone, you say, now, but for her, she has asked you that question. She knows even the 4 answers you're going to say. She knows if you bring A, she knows she's going to take you to B. So they are, like I said, they are not a weaker vessel. These women are stronger than us. I usually have conversations with my auntie Miriam Matembe, and I'm like, you have over-empowered the girl child. Now it's important that you actually now start bringing the boy up front, telling them, you can do, because naturally, we boys take long to make it in life. A girl who is 20 years, beautiful, clever, easy. Even on the street, you'll see people calling her, but it's easy. But for you to start making big moves, you're now with your education, you have your retakes, you have what? By the time you start making money, you're like 35. But for her at 20, 22, 23, 24, she's ready. Yeah? So, again, because they've become more powerful, they get jobs much faster, the education system is available for all equally, and even they get, the girls still get points, extra points at A level, going to the university. You still get 3 points. Oh my God, that's wrong. On top of all that, they now even give you 3 points to join the university. No. Here it is even. So you see, the girls have been over-empowered. So now it's time to throw a message out there. Maybe we'll bring the biblical part where now a girl, like how the Muslims do it. They make sure, and that's why, most of us with the children want now to marry girls from Muslim, because the way they treat their girls, the way they are nurtured, the way they are brought up, they respect a man. Even a man can have 4 wives and she's okay. But ours, my friends, even a mere TikTok video, you're in trouble. So how are we going to make sure that these boys of ours are empowered and are just like how the women are, so that they come? Because now, that's even the increased rates of divorce. You find that 75%, it is because the women have more money. Look at the structures of the organization. The women are now there. Look at MTN, the CEO, Sylvia, woman. The Stanbic, Anujuko, woman. Everywhere. So now they are more powerful. They have more money. They are becoming leaders. So what's happening to the boy child? Do we now go back and do the resetting of saying a man should be the pillar of the home? You, a woman, you should love, adore your man. If he says don't go, you don't go. You came from the rib. So we empower the boys, so that also the girls can see. Because now, and that is why these problems you're seeing, boys now living with boys. You're like, what's going on? Because it is easier to relate now with a boy. That's what society is heading to. Because I can tell you for a fact that any beautiful girl, if you don't have money in this society, she will ask you for mobile money, she'll ask you for iPhone 14, she'll ask you. A 25-year-old will not manage. You get it? So we have, and it's good, my son, you've started these conversations. It's important that we find ways of making sure that the young boy is now getting encouraged. Like I said, I have sons. You'll ask me how I'm doing it. My children, I can tell you for a fact, I do not cook breakfast for them. If you follow me on TikTok, you've seen my son Abba cooking a serious meal. I make sure that a houseboy is not there on weekends. I want to make them independent as possible. Like the generations we've come. I try to talk about my family legacy. We grew up the hard way. You guys are a bit loved. because you come after me. You're a bit there, you know. But now our children, do you know that I would think twice to send my child to the shop which is on the main road? I would think twice. But back in the day, our parents never gave a damn why you've gone to Guru alone. So I don't think my son can even get a taxi. He's 14 from school and he takes himself home. I don't think so. In my senior one, I'll take myself to school. A bus, I just get my car luggage, my suitcase on a bicycle, didn't have border borders. And I go to Masaka. I go to Muiri. Alone. So, again, how are we bringing up these children? I may be in a different, maybe ABC class, but even when I see the kids that are below, the boys that are below, the kind of love and how they are being raised is a bit of a challenge. So yes, we need to rethink and have these conversations. But like I said, women are more powerful than us in every way.
Thank you very much, JK. Whenever I talk to some people, some young boys, and they tell me, maybe these people that we look up to, they had a shoulder to lean on. They had a fallback. They had someone to step from. They had someone show them the directions. They had some resources. But it's because they are holding back to the backgrounds where they come from, what they have gone through, so they think they cannot create an impact. They think they cannot do anything of purpose. But I believe in a philosophy that sorrows sadden one's face, but they sharpen one's understanding. If only you can reflect on what you've gone through, think of how you can solve it for the coming generation. If you've gone through a certain problem, how best do you want that people that come after you don't also face that? Make it a problem and make a solution for it and live an impactful life. I believe everyone has something they can do for this world. So as we are coming to the conclusion of this conversation, I know Enoch is running somewhere, so I want 3 minutes for each one of us to give our final remarks in 3 minutes. Starting with you, Frank.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for bringing us together this evening. And I thank everyone who has been with us, listening. And I hope as we leave this building, let us all be ambassadors. Let us try to create a change in our lives, in the lives of our brothers, and let us groom ourselves to become better fathers. I know most of you are soon becoming fathers. A few years to come, you are going to be fathers. Let us be available fathers, responsible fathers, and this will help us to close the gaps. It will help us to get rid of this crisis we have. Like I told you, it's a global crisis, and it's eating us at a terrible speed. As Icon, as our ED told you in the opening remarks, what are we trying to do? One of the things we did is to open up boys to men clubs. And we started with a few schools where we're trying to nurture a boy into a man. We try to talk to them at an early stage. For those of you who may wish to partner with us, you can always approach us. Those who have schools or your parents have schools, you can also approach us. Another thing we do, we have parents groups. We also talk to the parents. We also talk to your parents so that we can discover what went wrong during our parenting period. This is something which we can correct, but we need to correct it when we are together and we agree that we have a crisis. Thank you, Emma, once again. And let us keep in touch. You can always reach Emma. Emma can get to us easily.
And let us build a better community. Let us have better families. Let us have boys. Let us have men. I thank you.
Thank you very much for that remark, Enoch.
Thank you very much, Emma, and your team at Golden Voice Foundation. I'm very happy to have been on this panel. What I can say is, if we want better men, great boys, then it starts with each one of us. Let's not neglect the responsibility and think that boys or men, boys are going to be groomed by someone else. If you have siblings, make sure that you become a great role model. You become a great example to them and teach them the things that you are learning. That's how collectively we are going to realize a better society. And I challenge each one of us to always continue pushing ourselves to live better each day. Let's not wait that things will get better and you'll live a great life at a certain point. Aim to live as your own example each day. So I am finishing saying that I founded Lead Minds Africa, and our main focus is on empowering young people in the areas of education, employment, and leadership training. Emma is one of our participants, so we are happy to be here and to continue supporting you in any way we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Enoch. JK, can we have your final remarks? Then we shall take a few questions from the audience, like the first four, and we call it a day. This show will be on YouTube for starters. It's called The Identity Talk with EJ. It will be airing. It's live right now. You can go there, stream, share with your friends. You can subscribe, like. We shall be providing this content on a weekly basis here. So we shall be there. Check us out. We hope in a few time to come, we shall start an online TV that will be streaming here as well, still voicing these issues. So you're all welcome to always join us here at Motive as we create the better generation of the youth. JK?
The boy child. Work on skilling yourself to be employable, to be knowledgeable at many things, so that you're relevant. There is no way you're going to beat a girl child. She's better than you in many ways. Absolutely. And they will always be favored, not just in Uganda. I've told you a story abroad. If you touch a woman, you'll be arrested. The woman will beat you, will do anything. They'll do nothing to her. So, be knowledgeable. Most importantly, work on yourself. Impression is everything. Is everything. Be presentable. And along the way, always pray to God. Make sure you're upright. Your morals are good. And along the way, they will love you and you make it in life.
Thank you very much, JK. Thank you, the greatest panel that we had here today. We are so much excited. Check out Golden Voice Foundation Africa. Go on our website, check out our works. We host with our partners the International Men's Day every 19th November at Kaz campsite. So you're always welcome. Still engage in these conversations of this kind that will impact lives. So we call upon everyone to join us this November, come 19th. So you're always welcome. I want to thank our partners, Icon Enterprise Foundation. They've been there with us. I thank Motive, CK and his team at Motive for the space and everything and the opportunity to give to the youth so that they can be impacted. I thank very much Pep Scholar for giving us all these drinks and the amazing #1 most purified water, Aquafina. I think Professor Maggie will be given some money for the advert. But thank you very much for the support that you always give us. We really, really appreciate and cannot express it enough. Smari, all these people that are covering this on cameras are students of Smari Skilling Institute, and all those are the powers of J.K. Kazola right here. So we can't thank him enough. Thank you very much. Yes, we also have different media houses here. We have Miss Doreen Mwesije from Baba TV, who is here. Thank you very much, Baba TV. Yes, she's right there. Thank you very much, Delta TV. Thank you very much, team at Smari and everyone. So this is it for the panel. Allow me now. We have questions from you. Let's get some questions.
Thank you very much for organizing this beautiful conversation about the boy child. My name is Mouma Simon Peter from Hidden Voices Foundation, empowering boy child and men. We're based in Namwongo. My question would love to go to J.K. Kazora. Brother, I have something that disturbs me. When you go to the streets of Kampala and streets of Busia, where I come from, you count 1 is a girl, the 5 are boys. What do you think we as men who have discovered this problem have not done yet to see that the way these women, you know, I'm sorry, I reached at a point and I hated feminists. The way they talk, the girl child is suffering, but when I go on the street, I find the boy child suffering more than the girl child on the streets, different parts of the country. What do you think in your opinion, what we have not yet done yet to see that this boy child or the men have not been helped? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Claire Twichiris. I'm a programs manager, Golden Voice Africa. Mine is actually a submission. This, gentlemen, this all goes back to you. You as a person, what you want. I spoke to one of my friends and told me, you know what? I can't date this kind of a man because I'm not a rehabilitation center for a poorly raised man. So as parents, as gentlemen, you have to work upon yourself. As JK was saying, women are empowered, women are this. There are things which a lady can't take in. No one wants a bad product. So it all goes back to you as a person. Like a parent, raise your child in the right mode. Even you as a child, shape yourself. Not people you associate with. Are you learning from them or you're losing something from them? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria Nampala. I'm a journalist with New Vision. My question goes to all the 3 panelists. It's like, how can you help a boy child identify a mentor or a role model? A role model or a mentor who is purely clean. An example is we have male friends who are like, Kazora is my role model, but at the back of it all, he knows Kazora deals in drugs, Kazora is a thief, as in Kazora has dirty stuff around him, but this particular male is like, Kazora is my role model, and whatever I'm doing, I'm looking up to him. How can you advise such a fella?
Very simple. Do as I say, don't do as I do.
My name is Frank Chambade. I am a father to 1 son. I have a question to the panelists. First of all, thank you so much for organizing this. My question is, in this age of information, a lot of information going around, how do we guide the boy child? So there's a saying that goes, spare the rod and spoil the child. I am raising a child of 1 year, and I'm wondering, in this age of information, caning is abusive. How do we punish our children in this generation?
Well, thank you so much, the panelists and everyone who has been here. My name is Piloya Babranyeko. I am the founder of Our Backbone, the Men, and as well as students of Uganda Christian University. Now, my question is that you realize that the girl child has over time been empowered, as we all know, and this is because of the patriarchy that existed in the society. And the need to empower the girl child was because they felt left out. Now, as this initiative is trying to bring the boy child up as well, what is your take on blending the two? Thank you.
So the problem of having one girl on the street and 10 boys on the street. Now, number one, education. I wasted a lot of time. I wish I could go back in 1996, 97. I wouldn't go to A-level. I went to A-level to study history, economics, divinity, and fine art. They are all useless. Apart from divinity, which I believe should be a course for everybody, and it's done on Sunday. And there are no exams for that. You only do mocks and that's it. History, I learned the World War II. My grandfather, fought in the Second World War II. I had learned, and they told me stories about that. Completely useless. Economics that I studied is the same as commerce I studied in O-level. Just adding a few micro. But if I had left O-level and done 1 year media and landed on Jam Agenda, I would be in Hollywood today. The problem with our education system, our boys tend to leave. Now I joined MOOBS. Complete waste of my time. I am on Jam Agenda watching. I have now joined media. Clearly, I should have dropped out. But dropping out means you have to wait, I think, another year, or you don't even have points for MASCOM. It is 4 years. Why would MASCOM be 4 years? A Simari student of 9 months can challenge a kid of Makerere of 4 years. And that I can say with all the pride in my heart. Because we get students from Makerere 4 years, MASCOM, and come at NBS, Magic 1HD, BTV, and we can't employ them. We tell them go back, or we start training them afresh. So education system is failing the boy child. Now, Makerere, I had a retake. I actually said, I sat with Balonyua. I said, Professor, I want to jump out. This is not helping me. And he said, JK, you are a big face. You've been promoting MOOBS. If you fail, you don't graduate, I will look bad. Please graduate. I said, I am not going to study again. I have done 2 papers. International marketing. There were 2 marketing papers I did. I said the rest, intermediate accounts, quantitative methods. I said, those don't help me. Somehow they managed to graduate me. I don't know how. Yeah, and here I am going back for a PhD just to scare you, but yeah. So, and I had a retake QM, so 4 years Makerere. So imagine if I wasn't me working, Jam Agenda, I am now the #1 MC for MTN, I am on radio, KFM, I'm making money, I'm okay. That's the career I'm going. That's what I'm good at. But I'm here studying. Now imagine someone is at Makerere 4 years. He has left Makerere when he's 24. When you're 24, there are certain jobs you're not going to do. Today and yesterday, as you know, we are doing a campaign for Hotloff and Pepsi to find, you guys to work in these outlets. I've been looking for boda riders. I give you a boda, I pay you 400K, and you make commission on the Pepsi products. You sell hot loaf, you make money. I am failing to get them. Failing. And they're there, but to the stage one from here up to there, they're all chilling, waiting for a customer. I'm like, guys, njara wa sent, otuwameka wiki mtwaro 10. Otuweza okulia, notuweza okulia. Because their mindset is gone. But you tell that to a 19-year-old kid, 400K, 100K a month, he gets that opportunity, he's going to do it. But again, there's a problem with this generation. They don't want to work. Bazara we mirimu. I'll give an example. I studied in the UK. When I was doing my master's in television at Salford University, the prestigious Salford University, I looked for jobs. Ne panka. Ne nteka ku CV, Jam Agenda, MC, Pepsi Cola, what, MTN, Ororo, They never called me for any job. And my sister would look at them and laugh. And then one day she did for me a CV. I got a job at a petrol station. Ngabwadawa Shell Select. That's where I was working. You're doing a master's, you're a bad guy in Uganda. Or you could take a mafuta motoka. But can I tell any of you, I have a degree from MUBS. I did my 6 months at Simari. I can't work at, who will work at Shell here? Nobody. The next job, I was selling British gas, the worst ever job to ever do. So, the youth, the boys, bazara we mirim. Number 2, when they get the job and be comfortable, they don't want to work. They want simple life. I want to be on TikTok. I want to be on this or that. Even the girls, same story. She'll wake up in the morning, do makeup, do look nice, do a video, TikTok video trend. Send me some mobile money. A guy watches it, sends 50K. She lives on to the next day. So, the youth that we have, the boy child, very lazy. They want to be there before the journey. They want the destination. I can tell you, do not say no. Even the kids here, we've told to study for free, will not come. You know why? It's raining. You understand? So that's our biggest challenge. Even when the opportunities that are there for them to do, they will not take them. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're skilled early enough so that you can, because there are certain jobs, you no longer need a degree to do certain things. Professor is here. She's a director at Pepsi. She headed the marketing department. She will take you to work in the marketing department, not because you have a master's or PhD, but because what you can execute. Because she knows she'll give you, you don't need a degree to be a salesman. It is in you. It is in you. Just a few polishing, learn how to make a sale, do this, how do you close, that's it. You're there. The role model. I am not even a role model to my own sons. Steph Curry is a role model to my son Abba. Everything Steph Curry does, my son does. The way he walks, plays basketball like him, he wants to wear his shoe. Me, I'm just there to guide on a few things. So you may not necessarily your father, who you can pick even role models you don't know. Like me, I had a role model. I told you, Trevor Nelson. You can Google. I didn't know him. I met him once. And the other was, what was the other question? Maybe you can.
Oh, punishing. Punishing, I think you. So I wanted to touch on mentorship. Like, how do you find a mentor, a role model? There are two kinds of mentorship. There is one that is passive and one that is active in a person. So the passive one is where you find someone who is really, like, embodies the things you want. You look at yourself and who you want to become, and you're like, I think Nelson Mandela, the late Nelson Mandela represents who I want to become. Like Mr. Kazola was talking of Steph Curry, LeBron James, or maybe maybe the First Lady. And you start to live your life because you're watching at a distance what this person does. the things they say and how they conduct themselves. Then you start to model your life around that. Then there is when you say, I think Professor Maggie Chigozi really needs to become my mentor, and you reach out to her. But you need to realize the things you want to learn from her and where you need to go. Because most of the times, young people think mentorship, when someone becomes your mentor, they need to drop everything they are doing and focus on you. No. These mentors have a life. They have things they are chasing as well. So you need to really identify the things, the areas in your life that you want to grow in, how the journey you want to walk, the things you want to do in life, and who is that person who represents that. And you have to understand that mentorship is really two-way. The mentor learns from you as you also learn from the mentor. And most times, I have come to learn that the mentor grows even better than the mentee. Yeah. Then don't you choose another one. Don't choose someone who is going to come into your boundary, into your space, and actually make you worse. And you are two people who are not helping each other. There is something I wanted to throw in. There is a narrative I am trying to interact with. The narrative that girls have been empowered the most. Is that really true in our male-dominated world? I feel like it is not true. But one thing that I have watched, I have observed, is that men have become complacent. They think the world belongs to them. They have this, we come forward with, we can still make it, we can figure out. We are the ones that head, the leaders, the heads of the family. And women are realizing, okay, this is a male-dominated society. How do we need to regain our space? How do we need to regain our power? Every opportunity that a woman, a young girl lands on, they make sure they use it to the very best. You need to observe critically that. Why is it that women are the ones that are actually living in cases of divorce, not men? Men are neglecting their space. They are becoming very relaxed. And this is why we are having this conversation. How do we strike a balance between, empowering girls and that is, I think, the narrative that we are increasingly dealing with again in the space of gender equality. I feel like I am one person who believes that we need to leave things play out. Empower the women, empower the men. I feel like really women are going to, when they are empowered, you empower one woman, you empower the nation. Women have proved, if they are educated and they get a job, they have proved to take care of their families better than their male counterparts. They remember very well their parents, even their siblings. They even focus on making sure that the families are looking great. The family house and everything is taken care of. So I think we need to, the more I feel like one of the things that is holding us back in achieving gender equality is that we continue to make women victims, vulnerable, as if they are powerless. And they continue to hold themselves back. So we need to empower them, give them the tools they need to use, and leave out other factors to play out. If men relax, then you know what is going to happen. How do we punish our children? That has been a narrative that has described African families for so long. If a child commits something wrong, then you get a stick. I think parenting has to evolve nowadays to more of a conversation. I really liked something that I go back to in the way I was raised. I have been raised by a very peaceful man. Very peaceful man. I used to be very, very stubborn. But my dad always found a spot of talking to me. And one of the ways he would do it, he would call me he would find days when he's going to graze the cows and say, "Today I'm grazing with you." And that is when I used to understand that today is going to be about the class of, you are doing this wrongly, this is how you need to do it better. So I think we need, one of the father role models that I look up to is an American friend. And I like how he talks to his sons, he talks to his daughters. They can have an attitude, then he lets that pass, then he goes to their room, or he calls them to where he's sitting on a couch. And he's like, "Why are you behaving like this?" He's not holding a stick, but mentally, he's grooming these children to develop a mindset of identifying wrong and good. Best from better. So I think we need, as parents, we need to really focus on cultivating a certain mindset where young people are able to identify the wrong from the good, to groom the best character in them, instead of upholding the narrative of getting the stick and and caning this boy or daughter. So
yeah, thank you very much. I want to first add on something that JK was saying about universities and education. The gentlemen you see behind the cameras here are students of Somali Skilling Institute. Within 3 months, they have created their media company called LATS Media Company, and you can see the magic they are doing, which someone who has graduated at Makerere, they can't do. So, JK, you said they're yielding. Frank, you had something to add on? Maybe in 1 minute.
Yeah, maybe to add on the punishment as you are raising your children, this may differ at a certain age. I go straight. What kind of punishment would you wish to introduce in your family? You need to know, for example, if you knew what your son loves most. For example, my son, they always want to watch wrestling. They know the latest, do we call them tournaments? I even don't know. Now, if they didn't do certain something, I can stop them to watch the TV for some time. And also teach them to say sorry. Ask them to write apology letters. Take them through what exactly you need them to do. If you've been taking them for movies, tell them today we are not going for movies because you didn't do ABCD, you didn't clean your bedroom. And believe me, these modern children, they will feel it. They will come back to you, "Daddy, we are sorry, please, we shall not do it again." Okay, Gandhi, write an apology, bring it here. But this caning should be reduced in this kind of parenting. Some of these children need to be more guided than beating them and, pushing them to the wall. Some of the men even end up abusing their mothers, when the children do bad things, they are not well behaved. But let us get involved. You will definitely find a befitting punishment for your child, for your son.
All right. Thank you very much, Frank, Enoch, JK, for the amazing submission. I hope everyone has really, really learned something out of this, and we appreciate your time coming here, and we shall continue having the same conversations about different issues so that we ensure that all the young people who are consumed with personal growth, self-improvement, and changing their physical avatars get the platform where they find that mentorship and guidance. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Let me hand over to the MC. Thank you.
Wow, let's give them another hand clap. Thank you so much, our panelists. Well, we are going to have a few personal experiences from our younger men, just two of them briefly for about 3 minutes each. And then we shall have remarks from one of the directors of Golden Voice Foundation, who will invite our chief guest to give us a few remarks. So let us have Mr. Glory, and later we shall have Issa Lukwago to give us a personal experience.
Good evening. My name is Glory Seronkuma, and I am honored to be able to speak at this conference, this gathering, and just to share a brief experience that I have gone through as a young person, getting from boyhood to manhood. Just like the panelists have spoken today about the different things that the boy child goes through throughout the process of life as they grow up. Allow me to share on just one thing, which is individuation. And individuation is the process by which one becomes distinct. And that is one of the things that we as young men go through, and we reach that point and we really do not know what to do with ourselves. Individuation really distinguishes one from the other. How? If it is done right, one has the ability to set distinct goals, to know their purpose, to know why they exist. One is able to have a better picture of who they really are, where they want to be, and where they are going with their lives. And on my side, when I was much younger, I think about the age of 12 or 13, I asked myself this question: who am I? I asked myself, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And like the previous speaker said, you need to have a role model, you need to have all these people that mentor you, that you look up to as a young man. But I personally didn't have those things. Yeah, sure, I had my father around, different people around me, but I didn't see them as people that I could look up to in the line that I wanted to take for my life. And in that time period of individuation where I asked myself, who am I? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be in my life in the future when I am older? I came to a realization that each and everything that I decide to do from that point onwards would lead to that end product, to that end result that I want to achieve. And growing up, I am the only son in my family, to my parents actually. I'm the only son. So there is all this weight that comes in as a boy in the home. Having two younger sisters, everything is allocated to me, the older brother, to me, the older child. And throughout those years, I used to ask myself, but why am I entrusted with all these responsibilities? Why am I the one that is asked to do all these hard tasks, yet there are also other children in the home? And yet again, I wondered, why is it me that gets to receive all these other benefits at the end of the day? It came down to the point where I discovered that that becoming a man requires you to be responsible. And one thing that taught me is that the inability to to individuate impedes development on one's self. What does that mean? That if you're not able to discover and understand who you really are as a boy or as a man, in fact, a boy to man, you, in one way or the other, disable yourself mentally. This brings us to our modern day and age where we see issues of separation, and most of the times you find that this young man or this man really did not have time to discover whom they really are or who they really want to be at that point in time, which leads to difficulties in pursuing goals as a young man. I mean, if you do not know who you are, you do not know where you want to be, where you want to go. You cannot differentiate between your passions and your wants, something that you need or something that you want. So at the end of the day, individuation is one of the key things that really helped me as a person to be where I am today. Because I think today, as of today, I am 19 years old. But I work. I'm still studying. But I make money. I'm able to have all these other responsibilities around me. I serve in church. I do all these things. Not only because I'm old or something, but it's because I was able to find out who I was at a much earlier stage. As a young man, I tend to go places and people wonder, wow, what a guy. How can he say such things? Why is he there? Why? Until I tell them my age. And I remember this one time I was speaking to a group of people in Bali, and when I told them my age, one of them was like, "You're old enough to be my grandson, but here I am listening to you." These are some of the benefits as to why one needs to discover whom they are, as to why individuation is key to certain things in a man's life or in a boy's life, in this case. So as a boy, I was able to discover who I was, to align my thoughts and my actions and the goals that I had set to that one thing that I knew I wanted to achieve in time to come. I can't say that I have achieved it all yet, because I'm still in that same process of getting there. But at the end of the day, individuation is one of the key things that will help a young man, a young boy, in fact, turn into a man. So later on, when I was around the age of, I think 16 or 17, I remember going for a convention in South Africa with my dad and a group of friends as a team from Uganda, going to represent schools doing my curriculum. And when I was there, I wondered, why am I here? Why is it that on this team I have the main roles as leader of the athletic team or leader of the boys in the dormitories, or when we go out, I am left in charge of all these different guys on my team but are older than me? And that's when it struck me that I was able to learn how to be a leader when I was much younger. The responsibilities that I was trusted with by my parents, by those around me, being the only boy at home, they helped me to be able to understand how a leader is supposed to act. to lead by servitude. So at the end of the day, I was able to know that it was individuation that helped me to achieve that which I was able to have at that point in time. So at the end of the day, I believe that as people out there, we need to make it known to the younger boys in our communities and in society that they need to discover whom they are at a much younger age. Because since then, I've never looked back. I've always just been going up from a level to another level. And just like the speaker said on the panel, we need to have a mentor. We need to be knowledgeable. We need to be skillful. And we need to know what we want. When we are hurt as boys, we need to learn to heal. Because at the end of the day, it is those wounds to the heart that either define a person actually. They have the strength to take what was good and make it bad just because you have not yet healed as a boy. That's why we have so many men these days that are drunkards, that are drug addicts, so many people stealing things, so many people living on the streets, old men, not just young boys. Why? Because of where they came from, because of failure to heal. So we need to make sure that we make known the importance of individuation to a young man or to a young boy. Responsibility is one of the things that really help build a boy into a man. So, having that said, I would like to conclude with this. Wherever you go, wherever you might see a boy that needs help, always assure them and encourage them to take a step to understand who they are and whose they are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have Issa.
Good evening, everyone. Lukwago Issa, and 26 years. I've just been doing my own business because I've tried working for companies, and I reached a point and I felt like I really need to have something, because I've grown up seeing people that start up businesses or becoming, I would say people that start their own business, that they benefit more than just people that work for others. It's a quote that I got from the Microsoft guy. So that inspired me a lot. So right now, I want to share my story. As a boy growing up, I've been an indoor guy. I'm not going to say that I've been given opportunity to stand here, so just forgive me if I'm a bit nervous. Yeah, so, okay. So, growing up, yeah, I've had this problem that being a guy, it has always been like obvious. Like you're a boy, everything you have to do, it's going to be an obvious thing. Like you're supposed to be knowing everything you're going to do, which is not right. Like I reached a point and I felt so mad at my parents because there was a point that they always assumed that we don't have concerns. Like you do everything when they tell you to do, and when you have a concern, you know, you might be hurt by your parent, but you can't accuse them because they are old, they are grown. So I think parents, as when they are raising us, they should always know that this boy is my son, despite the fact that I'm supposed to raise him, take care of him, but I need to talk to him. So I think there was a point when I really went astray. I started doing drugs. I used to take booze like to hell. But I came over that with time because, yeah, I got someone who mentored me, and that's my uncle. He's somewhere there in Kamli Road, Chireka. So he's been my mentor. So like all I'm saying is that while boys are growing, they need to make sure that they get mentors, just like our panels have been saying everything. So I think that would be all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's a good thing that we get to hear from young gentlemen. So now I'll invite one of the directors of Golden Voice Africa Foundation. He'll give us a few remarks and invite our guest speaker. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure and singular honor to be before you. My work is only to welcome our chief guest. I will make just few remarks because almost everything have been said. So I don't want to dilute what has been said. My major aspect here is to give you a simple organizational background for Golden Voice Foundation, whereby it aims at curbing crime, drug abuse, and gender inequalities among the youth by promoting health and positive masculinity. We also develop effective leaders and stimulate responsible citizens. Organization's membership consists of youth that are deeply dedicated to playing a key role in serving communities locally, nationally, internationally. Our approach is through advocacy, capacity building, skilling, counseling, mentorship, and transformative coaching with vision to build a peaceful, equal, violence-free, and crime-free world. Once again, Benon Karhanga is my name, a deputy ED for Golden Foundation, who is always in the background. As film, you know, they are behind the scene. Mine now is to thank. I would like to thank our dear panelists. JK, you have done a great work. Almost everyone knows. I don't want to go back. Enoch, you are a great man. Frank, thank you very much for your great time. I know it is not easy to get time on a such day, Tuesday, and you come and sit here for 3-4 hours. You are busy people. We cannot take it for granted. Thank you very much. And lastly is to thank the team, the members from Samari Institute for your time. Team from ICON, our partner, and also, of course, the team from Golden Foundation. Thank you for your time and your dedication. And we thank you, Dr. Maggie, for your always support and your presence when we need you. It's not easy to be here, but you have made it. Thank you very much. And I would like to extend my thanks to the whole entire PEPS for making us filled with drinks, that is PEPS, that is the PEPS products, in other words. So thank you so much. And lastly, of course, the media fraternity, we can't take it for granted. Thank you very much. And at this moment, sorry. You might be looking at me and you wonder, I am a married man with 1 wife and with 3 children, that is 2 boys and 1 girl. So when you talk about of boys' child, I have really to be there. So we are pushing this to make sure that we mentor young boys' child to come out as great men of tomorrow. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you. Once again, when you go back, you reach safely, and allow me now to invite Professor Maggie Chugozi.
Let me do the proper introduction, inviting her. We are truly honored to have you, Professor, here. You see, she is a billionaire, she's a professor, she's a doctor, she is a shareholder in Pepsi Uganda, former Investment Authority Director. This is a powerful, powerful citizen of Uganda, and also the mother of Navio.
Thank you, Jake. I want to start by saying you heard what CV that JK gave you. Mine is because of the men in my life. I was an only daughter, very much wanted. I have 4 brothers, and they gave me everything. They looked after me, and therefore, it is why I'm here, because I know other boys are not looked after well enough, are not given opportunities. So I am here to make sure the ones who nurtured me, my great father, my great brothers, and now I continue with further generations of very nice boys and men in my life. My father was an engineer. He traveled a lot. He was all over the country. He was at school in Budo and Makerere. But guess where my husband did? Because I had a great father. My husband went to Budo. My husband was an engineer. Because I knew where the best were. Yeah, I had seen them. So I hope all of you who are here, I know some of you have had difficult times, your parents, but now you have an opportunity with your children, which is why we are here. I had somebody hating the feminists. I'm very much a feminist. I am a feminist and ashamed to have become one very, very late. Because me, I was comfortable. I work with men, I'm fine, because of my background. And I didn't realize what the women were going through. We visited Wakisa Ministries. I don't know if you've heard of them. You will see pregnant girls, 9 years old, 13 years old, pregnant. You will see women beaten, really beaten. This gender-based violence is not a joke. So if you haven't seen it, thank God for it. But you may have seen it. It's really bad. You see women being scarified. They change them. I don't know, God said in the Bible clearly that he made the most perfect one. And that was a woman. Why can't people be happy with us? They want to pull this, they want to cut that. There's always some change they want for the girls, for some strange reason that I cannot understand. So, when I became a feminist, when I recognized the women were not in school, my age, I'm very happy you guys are in school. But in my time, the women, we'd educate our boys and we live, even my mother. My mother taught, she was a dressmaker. My father was an engineer. Because that's what they thought was what the women did. You know, they cooked or they sewed or things like that. So when I understood all that, and it took me long because for me, I'm okay with men. I work only with men wherever I've been. And because of my family background, I was okay with that. I didn't see that my sisters were not there. My friends were not there. They didn't have those opportunities. So that's when I became a feminist. And I must say we've done a good job. We still have a lot to do. Our girls are now confident. They are educated. They have rights. You can't just beat them up. They will, like JK said, will report you to the police. With domestic relations, people in the police, you'll really be in trouble, even here in Uganda. So we've come a long way, but of course we are not there yet. The percentages, when you hear which girls are getting HIV/AIDS, who is getting HIV/AIDS? It's the young girls. Young girls. And this is cross-generational. It's those old men that are taking our young girls. So, but today we are looking at the boys. You can't have one or the other. Families are made. If you want a good country, you must have good families. And families are made up of men and women. So we are now having, even us the feminists, and you will hear Men's Day, we are the ones initiating it. And we are very happy to work with Golden Voices. They had already initiated themselves, but the national event is so unimportant in this nation. So we've started working on it, but we truly hope the men will take it over. It looks good when you guys are the ones talking about the men, and you understand. But if us, the women, now are again, we already supported our women, they are very powerful. Now we come again and we are the ones supporting the boys. That is wrong. But we are happy to kickstart it and to work with the people who are already doing great jobs. So that's what we are doing. So November, did you say November 16th? Is International Men's Day. So we are here. Today is Boys' Day. Boys are very important because they're fragile. They are sensitive, and they can be really mistreated. They become drug addicts. They are the ones committing suicide when you look at the figures. So there's a lot of work that we need to do for the boys. But also the men. Where are the men? I'm happy my panelists were all men, and they were all very positive, and they are all trying individually to do something. They are trying to do something. So let us all do that. Let us get the father figure back. My father, the one I'm telling you about, is a rare specimen nowadays. Where are the fathers? So these panelists are all fathers. I'm happy. You are not yet a father, but soon I hope. But so we need those fathers back. The father that's a role model. The father that you copy even to marrying a man just like him. That's what I did because he was so good. Yeah? So I hope you as fathers, because in this room you are potential to be fathers, treat your children well. Bring up your children well. Don't let them look for mentors. Where are you? Yeah? Now they need to look for mentors because the fathers in that mixed generation is missing. The one between my father and now the fathers we are seeing here was missing. So we needed now mentors from outside, but you need those as well for other parts like jobs and what. A mentor really is very helpful. Even a role model. You just watch JK. I see many of you are just watching JK and copying what he does. That's okay. That's the other way. You don't have even to talk to him. Just do what he does. Yeah? So you do that. Promise us, the boys in this room, you are going to be great fathers. Let's have the next generation. It's not too late for you because we've had success stories. They've come out. They did what they did and they're not doing it anymore and they plan to be good men in the future. So it is doable. Your father probably wasn't there. Your mother was busy and also wasn't there maybe. So we can understand what happened to you. But we want you to promise that the next generations are going to be fathered properly. Somebody, don't beat them. I don't believe in beating myself, but others do. So I want to thank the panelists. Those were very excellent presentations. Our board member, thank you for the invitation. And of course, our coordinator and Madam MC. Thank you, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much, Professor Maggie. Before you leave, we really have to appreciate Professor Maggie. She's been there for us. She's talked about how the ladies are trying to organize us as men, and they really want us to also come up and take the lead. She's been there with us with Dr. Lydia Mungerera. She has happened not to be here. She has a conference in South Africa, but she's following the event on the Stream Lives. So she's with us in spirit, and she loves this, what we are doing, and she's willing to support us together with Professor Maggie to walk this journey together of creating a better generation of better fathers and responsible gentlemen. Thank you very much, Professor Maggie, for being here, for honoring our invitation. We really, really appreciate. So let's have a group photo with the panelists. Then after, we shall have a photo with the team from ICON and team from Golden Voice Africa, and a group photo as all of us, and we call it a day.